It has been pointed out that the film Portrait de la jeune fille en feu, known as Portrait of a Lady on Fire in English, examines the way in which we interact with art. Specifically, it interrogates how art is created, whose perspectives it portrays, and who may be able to access it, be it for purposes of edification or comfort. This is framed in a historical setting through a feminist lens. It's the women whose stories are not being told. It's they who have to subject to false representations of themselves. But the film goes further than that. It ties the stories that may not be told to the lives that may not be lived. That which is preserved in idealized form in an image decays in its real material state, left to wither and die, whether a flower or woman, so long as either have served their purpose. Reproduction. In every sense of the word. A copy of a model and a body to multiply. The metaphors around this theme are strong throughout, but there's a different aspect that I would like to highlight. As much as the film is about the act of seeing and being seen, both related to love as that which makes us see, it is also about being heard. At its core, it's a film about a deafening silence that reaches out to us from centuries past. Voices that could never speak what was on their mind, that were not free to express themselves. There's a distinct lack of a soundtrack. This is what director Céline Sciamma had to say on the subject.
But I really wanted to... It was a matter of reconstitution, as the movie is also talking about the connection with love and art and how love makes you love art. I wanted the audience to be in the same position as the characters that are frustrated because, they don't have access to beauty in general and to art in particular.
What she does not say specifically here is that the music touches a different part of us than the fine arts. Music is about the moment, and in the days before it could be recorded, it was fleeting indeed. You couldn't put it up on a wall and admire it from time to time. You had to perform it, or have it performed for you. It is that spirit of sharing that signifies the blooming love between the two main characters, Marianne and Eloise. In the first scene where the music arrives, it settles between them and never leaves their side again, irrevocably part of their bond.
Je l'ai en tête, mais je ne trouve pas. Vous entendrez la suite. Milan est une ville de musique.
What about the voices? They too rise. The voices of the women swell on the one occasion where they believe themselves to be among equals, to be able to give voice to their innermost feelings, because they know that someone will listen and that someone will care. What they sing is a Latin phrase, fugere non possunt. They cannot escape. The women gather around a fire, and Eloise is caught on fire. Céline Sciamma has said that this is supposed to evoke the imagery of witches and their alleged gatherings, but to me, it signals the burning at the stake. A tool of oppression, a way to silence. Thankfully, the others save her. Why should Eloise be sentenced for an alleged crime of thought, when that crime is nothing but love and a desire for self-determination? This is the pivotal moment, a liberation, even if only for a while. Eloise does not speak in this scene or the next, but her actions speak louder than words. This is what she wants. This is what they want. And why should they not have it? Love is about trusting that there is someone who sees you as you are, who understands without the need to talk. Words are exchanged at a later point, but they never seem to mean as much as the words the women sang, the words that then come true. Eloise cannot escape. And when she and Marianne have to part ways in the presence of others, their tongues are tied, they are mute yet again. All that is left to them is the reprieve of a hurried hug, a gesture just as befitting to strangers almost. It's not just that they cannot kiss, they cannot speak words of comfort and reach out to the other. They have to retreat into themselves, as the lines demarcating propriety are very narrowly drawn, and as the film posits, more so for women than for men. When we see Eloise again at the end of the film, we do not hear her speak either, but we don't have to. We can look at her face and know. When the music that she shared with Marianne sounds again, from Vivaldi's Le Quattro Stagioni, all elements of the film collide. Her outer appearance is that of a wife and mother. That is what the spectators see in the gallery, and that is what they see in the concert unless they take a closer look. The camera allows us to take that look. It allows us to see Eloise as Marianne sees her, closer even, and what we see is how she unravels in response to the music, because it reminds her, because it touches and perhaps even comforts her, because it provides her with an outlet for her emotions. Do we imagine that she has ever spoken about her time with Marianne to anyone? Do we imagine that she could have, if she wanted to? Do we imagine that she has read novels in which she saw her pain reflected, or that she herself has written about them in clear, unmistakable words, with no code to obscure the truth of her existence? In the greatest scene of music, the climax of a quiet film, we see the weight of her restraint crush down on her, released by the strings tugging at her memory, and the inevitability of her fate. I dare say, those who do not share in her experience will never truly understand. For that, they would have to listen. But what and who would they be listening to?